Alright, hello everybody. My name is Darcel and I'm here with the lovely Niema Golphin, the new author of Discovering Your Greatness Now. We are starting her 7-part blog series on
GlobalTeenTalk.com.
GlobalTeenTalk.com. So before we even get right into the book, I kind of just want Niema to give you guys a history about herself as well as what led her to become an author.
Alright, so I'm from Philly. You know, Philly author, self-published. That's a big deal coming from where I come from. Because I don't know any authors personally.
Right.
So basically, Discovering Your Greatness Now started from the idea. It started in a dorm room chat with all my friends. We all went away to college, and nobody was prepared. Like academically, we were okay, but in terms of the life skills that we needed, just the know-how to navigate the world. In the real world, none of us really knew. We didn't know about finances and credit, and even when someone asked you what you're going to college to study, no one said what profession do you want. So we all went to school just to get a degree, but we weren't thinking how is that degree going to help you in the workforce.
Right.
We weren't connecting the two, and it might seem like common sense, but something, you know, sometimes things aren't so common. So that's really what the book came about. I made a lot of mistakes. I had a lot of good stuff too that happened to me during my life. So I just threw it all in a book to really help people in general get a feel for how they need to prepare themselves when they step into the real world.
Okay. For example, say there's a teenager out there right now. They don't know anything about your book, but they're going to see this blog, and they don't have any idea what professional field they want to get into. What would you give them? What advice would you tell them to start now?
I would say if you don't know what direction you want to go in, just jump in and try something. Because that'll at least give you the know-how what you don't want to do. Like, so I know I don't want to do nursing because I volunteered at the hospital. I don't like blood. I don't like to be around that. You have to get yourself out there. You can't just sit at home and be like, oh my God, I don't know what to do. You have to put yourself out there on whatever level. You know, if it's just trying to meet new people, seeing what kind of professions are out there that you've never heard of, or even creating a profession for yourself.
Okay, I totally agree with that. When I was reading your book though, I got the pleasure to already read it. You don't have chapters, they're called lessons. And I have a favorite lesson, but it's not about me right now. So what is your favorite lesson that you thought was like the best advice you gave out of the whole book?
Let me see. One of the lessons talks about, the book takes a holistic approach. So we're talking about not only employability skills, how to write a cover letter, a resume, things of that nature. We're also talking about who are you as a person, how can you make that transition into the real world as healthy as possible. So I grew up in a broken home just like a lot of the kids that I speak to now, and they're dealing with a lot of tragedies and taking that pain with them into their adulthood.
Right.
So I was challenged by a lot of adults that were already around me growing up to kind of deal with the pain in a positive way. So that's my favorite chapter, is really teaching them the art of forgiveness, because it really is a gift to forgive somebody who shouldn't be forgiven.
Right.
So I tell my story, my tragedy. I don't want to give it away.
Yes, that's
in
crazy.
there. I don't want to give it away.
Chapter.
That's my favorite
Lesson
chapter.
3, I think. Self-healing.
Yep.
Yes, that's the one I was going to say. So we're on the same page. That's what's up. But that's good. With your book, I noticed it's self-published. Now, how did you even go about doing that? Can you kind of tell everybody what being a self-published author even means?
Basically, you can go through a self-publishing company, which I decided not to do because that's another person taking a percentage. So everybody, you know, when you're starting, you know, things on your own, you really have to do your research so you can be a better business person.
Right.
So I knew that I wanted to self-publish, but I had no clue. And that's a lot of the stuff I'm talking about in the book. When you don't know how to do something, you have to become your own resource and teach yourself how to do it. So I just did a lot of research on the internet. I looked up self-publishing companies. I saw that they were taking a huge chunk, you know, out the pie, and then they were working with an on-demand printer. So I'm like, wait a minute, how can I eliminate them and just find an on-demand printer? And that's exactly what I did. So I looked it up. I got the book copywritten. I got it in, you know, Library of Congress, all this, you know, the paperwork that I needed to handle. I did that. So the book is copywritten. Don't try to steal it. Don't try to steal it. You know, and I found an on-demand printer that I was happy with, and you know, that's how I went.
Okay, now being as though this is your first book, are you going to go further? And if you do decide to continue writing, are you going to stick with self-help books for teenagers, or will you gear like into different avenues?
I'm really passionate about helping people in general. So this is geared towards teens, even though I know anybody picking it up could get something from it. They can be inspired to do whatever they've been neglecting or procrastinating on.
Yes.
But I want to write the next book I want to do for the 20 to 30 something. We're in that state of an emergency. I know what I want to do, but I don't know how. I want to help that person. You know, people like us who just getting started. No one helped me to know how to do this. You know what I mean? So I want to help other 20-something going to that 30-year-old range to, you know, pick up the pieces.
All right, Niema. For example, as a consumer, why should I buy the book?
Okay.
Or why should I buy the book for like my teenage sister or daughter or such?
Really, who doesn't want to be inspired? Who says I don't need to find my greatness? I don't need to, you know, be the best person I don't need to do that.
Right.
So that's why people should buy the book. If you need some extra encouragement or you need to figure out how to get something done, you need that extra push. This is definitely the book for you. And most of us still, you know, that we make it seem like greatness is just this thing that's sprinkled on celebrities.
Right.
You know, sprinkled on rich people. No, we all have it, and you have to learn how to tap into it. And that's really what I'm teaching you to do. Learning how to tap into that greatness that lies within you.
So, as a, if I wanted to, where can I go in order to Discovering Your Greatness Now?
Okay. You can purchase the book on NiemaGolphin.com. I know you're gonna want. I know people are gonna want to buy it, so they can order it through my website, NiemaGolphin.com, NiemaGolphin.com. Oh, and stay tuned for the next 6 video blogs that I'm gonna do on GlobalTeenTalk.com.
Stay tuned for more Niema Golphin. You haven't seen the last of her, and Discovering Your Greatness Now.